Hi everyone, it's Melissa here for a little Friday Reads weekend update situation. Still don't know what I'm going to call these videos, but these are my informal, chatty, here's what I've been reading, watching, listening to, yada yada yada. So still haven't found any time to do a proper sit down video where I make notes about what I want to say and actually edit a more coherent video. I do have one that I've been planning to do for well over a month and just haven't found the time to do a proper book review. We'll see if I have time shortly to do that. But in the meantime, I have time to do these because I don't really edit them. So they are easy for me to get done and to get uploaded. So what have I been reading lately? I have finished a couple books. Little Women, which I have been reading for a very long time. I really enjoyed it. It's that kind of accessible classic with really nice characters and interesting characters, fleshed out characters who you really become attached to. I already knew everything that was going to happen in this book because I read an abridged, young readers' children's version of this when I was younger. But it was interesting to kind of revisit the story, to read the real thing, first of all, but to also revisit the story as an adult and how I felt about certain things, namely how certain character arcs finished and that kind of stuff. Because I feel differently about some things than I did when I was younger. But anyway, so finally finished this. Happy to have done so. I read this primarily on audiobook, but I also finished this middle grade book, The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise. Made me cry quite a few times. Maybe I'm just in a sappy mood right now, but it just really tugged at my heartstrings. It's about this 12-year-old girl whose mother and two sisters were killed in a car accident 5 years previously, and her father have been kind of living out of this converted school bus, just traveling the country, not returning to the place where they had lived and kind of running away from the past instead of confronting it and dealing with it. And it's her story of actually dealing with this trauma and how we remember those that we have lost. And I thought it was just a really beautiful story. They pick up a bunch of people along the way who need rides to various places. So there's a cast of characters, and yeah, it was very heartwarming, and I really, really enjoyed this. I think there's a second book, which I will probably pick up at some point. I'm not in a huge hurry, but I really, really enjoyed this. Those are the two things I have finished. I've started a new audiobook and I'm about to start a new physical book. The audiobook, I'm already halfway through. It's quite short to begin with, but also I'm just finding it really engaging and riveting. I forget the author's name, but I will make sure it's in the description below. The name of the book is The Stranger in the Woods, and I think the subtitle is the story of the last true hermit. I think that's it. It's about this man who lived in the woods in Maine, undetected. Well, people knew something was going on because there were these strings of burglaries. He basically had to steal food to survive, but he lived in the woods, not in a cabin in the woods, in a tent and tarps in the woods for 27 years. Didn't talk to anybody, didn't leave really, except to break into houses to steal food. Finally, he was caught, and this journalist who wrote the book sent him a letter while he was in jail because obviously he had been burglarizing houses for 27 years and ended up becoming pen pals, I guess, for a little bit, and then eventually visiting him in jail. And it's just a very odd story. And yeah, so he went into the woods in 1986 or 7 or something and was found 27 years later. very odd given the fact that there wasn't really a reason, or at least where I am in the book now. This is nonfiction, by the way, in case I didn't mention that. This is a true story. This is what makes this so, like, riveting. That, yeah, there didn't seem to be a reason. It wasn't like those people who isolate themselves because of some sort of, like, political or social reason. He just decided to go into the woods and just never came out. Maybe as I read the book, a reason will be kind of revealed, but he also seemed to have a relatively normal childhood. Like, his parents were big on self-reliance, and they weren't like super social people, but they weren't hermits, and they weren't completely isolated from society. And, you know, he went to school and it just seemed very normal, maybe kind of a quiet family. But yeah, just absolutely bizarre story. So I'm really enjoying that book. And I haven't started it yet, but I am going to sink my teeth into The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. Kind of a bit of a chunky book, over 600 pages. I have to read this for my book club anyway, and it's been sitting on my shelf for a while, so I'm happy to finally get to it. I don't even know what this is about. I don't know why I own it. It was probably discount somewhere and I grabbed it. So that's what's on the docket, reading wise. In terms of watching, I haven't really watched any movies to report on yet. I watched another episode or two of The Leftovers, which is a show from quite a few years ago now, about this like event, this global event where 2% of the world's population just vanish into thin air. And the show looks at kind of like the aftermath of that and like how the families are coping. It's kind of depressing, kind of intense show, but enjoying that so far. I have been enjoying my rewatch of Doctor Who. We are on, I don't know what season now. We are done with the Donna Noble story, and so Donna Noble is my favorite companion, and I won't give spoilers even though the show is like really old at this point, but you know, whenever the Doctor is done with one companion and we move on to a new companion or a new Doctor, you know, there has to be some sort of conclusion to their storyline, like why are they leaving the Doctor? Sometimes it's by choice and sometimes it's not. And I feel like the end of Donna Noble's story, especially given that she's my favorite companion, the writers, did her so dirty. I'm still mad about it so many years later. Rewatching it, I'm mad about it all over again. And I haven't watched any of the seasons past Peter Capaldi, so I only watched a few of his episodes and I stopped watching. So once we're done with David Tennant's seasons and Matt Smith's seasons, I do intend to watch the seasons that I have never watched. And given that he's a time traveler and they always retcon weird technology and things that he can do, maybe they can go back and give justice to Donna Noble, because how they ended her story was not it. Angry. So, yeah, have been immensely enjoying my rewatch. Let me know if you're a Doctor Who fan, who your favorite Doctor and who your favorite companion is. There was something else. Oh, yes. So, something I haven't talked about on my channel because they're part of a series and I can't really talk about a book series until I've like finished it, I guess, or I've talked about the first one, but it's the Murderbot series. So it's about this like cyborg, like cybernetic guy. He's a security unit and he has named himself Murderbot. Whatever. Can't remember Murderbot's pronouns, if it has any besides it. Let's say he is like kind of like a rogue agent in that he hacked his own like something called a governor module, which is how you are controlled by your owners, essentially. And so he's kind of a free agent, and he doesn't have to abide by the orders given to him like other security units would have to do. So I had read the first book a year or two ago, really enjoyed it. And this year I've just been going hard. I've read, I think, the next 3 or 4 past that. I'm up to number 4 or 5 now. And just love them. I listen to them on audiobook, and I love the narrator. He has the slightly neutral, slightly deadpan, but also slightly sarcastic tone of Murderbot down perfectly. Anyway, so I've read a bunch of those this year, really have been enjoying them. And then I was scrolling or something. Apparently there's a Murderbot series on Apple Plus. I hadn't heard about it. And Alexander Skarsgård is Murderbot, which I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that casting, but I do like him as an actor. So if you have seen the show, please give me your thoughts. I don't have Apple Plus, but I'm sure I know someone who does, and we can buddy watch this together. Yeah, I am excited, but also kind of I have a vision of Murderbot in my head, so I'm not sure how this show compares to the book. So again, if you've seen it, please let me know what your thoughts are. I think those are all the updates on what I've been reading and watching lately. If you have any comments about anything that I've mentioned, please let me know below. I'd love to have a chat with you. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye.